Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the fastest growing, fastest rising post-professional wrestling show in all of sports entertainment. Welcome back to Ringside Conversations. I'm your host, Roddy of Cringeman Media, and this is going to be the absolute fastest SmackDown recap because SmackDown was just that bad. Let's get straight to it. At the very beginning of SmackDown, Randy Orton comes out, and we are getting this random side quest, if you will, with him and Matt Cardona, who, by the way, I feel very sorry for. Imagine doing exactly what guys like Cody Rhodes did, right? You go into the indie scenes, make a big name for yourself, do all these amazing things, to come back to the company that you left to get treated the way Matt Cardona is getting treated by Randy Orton. It's like reminiscence of why you left in the first place, right? But nonetheless, he is getting destroyed by Randy on a week-to-week basis. Here, Randy is cutting a promo because he opened up SmackDown, and he randomly comes out with his microphone, and Randy's yelling at him like, "Oh, you got something to say," all for Matt Cardona to hit him upside the head with the microphone. They beef around for a little bit. Next thing you know, we have a match with them at the main event of SmackDown. That was it. Now we have the Bella Twins and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who is continuously probably the best part of watching SmackDown is the friendship between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And I will die on that hill as of right now as we stand. The match itself was fine. It was more towards the back end of the match where we get to see the tension continuously rise between just the women tag team division in general because Lash Legend and Nia Jax were at ringside, in which they, of course, get involved in the match, costing Charlotte Flair and Alexa. And this is fine. I think WWE has done an amazing job with the women's tag team division, so I'm not going to harp about this finish too much. It really does seem like Lash Legend, and specifically Lash Legend I'm talking about here, being paired with Nia Jax as they want to catapult her into a certain level of stardom rather quickly. They think a lot about, Lash Legend. And at the end of the match, it appears that Lash Legend and Nia Jax are going to do a move upon Alexa Bliss in which Lyra Valkyria and Bayley come out and save the day, showing that, hey, we're the number one contenders and we are here, of course. Moving on, we have the absolute just atrocious new trio between B-Fab, Me Jim, and the WWE Women's Champion, Jade Cargill. Now, why this trio exists, I will never understand. It does not make sense, in my humble opinion. However, we are here, therefore we need to talk about it. B-Fab has a match against Rhea Ripley, the number one contender for Jade's championship. Now, I kind of don't care about the lack of story here between Jade and Rhea. In wrestling, you can't have story about everything. At the end of the day, the story is Rhea won the Elimination Chamber. Therefore, she gets to decide to have a title match with Jade. Now, the match was, I literally probably was doing laundry, during the match. And as soon as I hung up one shirt, the match was over. Because, of course, Jade Cargill gets involved in the match, disqualifying B-Fab. But that wasn't the point. The point was to send a message to Rhea. And so they allowed the numbers game to overwhelm Rhea Ripley, in which she delivers her Beth Phoenix-like slam onto her. And that was it. I'm going to make a predictions video for WrestleMania, because obviously they're a WrestleMania match. And this is probably going to be the quickest prediction, specifically talking about that match, because I think this is kind of a given. At the same time, though, I don't have that. I'm not that high on this match. I don't think it's going to produce crazy quality. Not to say that the women are not capable of doing so. However, when you look at the rest of the card, albeit this WrestleMania has lacked momentum, the cards are kind of stacked, and I can admit that. Moving on, we have the most random match, however, probably the most entertaining of the evening. That is Jelly Roll versus Kit Wilson. Jelly Roll was all over SmackDown tonight. As a matter of fact, I think he was shown 3 or 4 times all throughout the night, including the match, in which he won. And it really made sense to why he's trying to lose so much weight. And it really just seems like he really wants to be involved within the company to what he's capable of doing. And the match against Kit Wilson was a good attest to just giving Jelly a nice semi-easy contest. And Kit Wilson's amazing. Kit Wilson has the most meteoric rise right now in terms of like comedic wrestling, stuff like that. And the match was fun. He won via his choke slam. And, I feel the most sorry for Giulia role towards the back end of the evening, which I will talk about soon. Now we have Carmelo Hayes with the United States Open Challenge match against Sami Zayn. Everybody and their mama's mama, at least I believe, thought that it would be, everybody and their mama thought it was going to be Tama Tonga. Considering the tension between Tama amongst the MFT, and there's just been a lot of hints towards this, but it was Sami Zayn. Granted, full circle moment for Sami specifically, how he was able to restart the U.S. Open Challenge and get the title to where it's at now, around Carmelo Hayes, to where he could try to earn that back. Now, the man with the most aura in the room comes out immediately upon the ring of the bell to start the match, and that is Mr. Whoop That Trick Williams. And obviously, he's stirring the pot. Hey. So the match starts. Are you serious, bro? Hey. So the match starts. The match itself was great. Probably match of the night. However, a lot of people, including myself, it was really towards the end of the match where we as fans, including myself, felt a little discombobulated on the finish of the match. Sami Zayn won. Therefore, he's a United States Championship. And then we go later in the evening, post-match, find out that he's going to defend his title against Trick Williams at WrestleMania. One, that's messed up for Carmelo Hayes because my dog don't even get his rematch immediately. Can we discuss that, please? Number two, I don't personally think that Trick Williams and Sami Zayn, at least the tension between the two, really needed a title. And people were going to tune into it anyway, simply just to say, whoop that trick during Trick Williams' entrance. So I'm a little, and plus I think Carmelo Hayes had a great U.S. run, and I think it could have been a little bit longer. But at the same time, WWE is not afraid to pull these kind of strings. I mean, we saw it, I want to say it was last year or the year before, when Io Sky won Rhea Ripley's World Heavyweight Championship off of a Monday Night Raw episode. So I'm not surprised, but I'm a little like, why? What are we doing here? But nonetheless, this is where we're at right now. Moving on, we have a segment between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, in which, if y'all didn't see, they nearly unalived themselves last week, dropping over towers, going through cars. This rivalry, every time Drew McIntyre is beefing with somebody, it's always a lot. And it's always really dramatic when you think about it. Going all the way back from CM Punk when they were beefing over a bracelet. That being said, they both basically, Jacob Fatu tells Drew McIntyre to come out. Drew McIntyre comes out, and they were talking. They were going at each other's throats verbally, in which our wonderful SmackDown GM, Nick Aldis, comes out and basically did the most predictable thing ever, which give him a match at WrestleMania, which is fine. And it's an unsanctioned match because they have both been liabilities to the company. Now, I think this match actually has pretty good potential to be one of those just having a lot of jaw-dropping moments, whether it be they do something crazy, whether they do something that makes us just get up out of our seats, whatever the case may be. Now, I think from this, there should be a nice separation from this version of Drew McIntyre's character. What I mean by that is he's always the victim, which is fine. You can always be the victim, Drew. But, it worked when you became champion because you became champion. And it worked because the character itself worked for Drew McIntyre. At least I thought so. But I'm curious to see what the payoff will be here, which I do believe will be Jacob Fatu winning the match at WrestleMania. Moving on, we have our co-main event, we have Tiffany Stratton versus Giulia, the women's United States champion, who hasn't defended her title since she's won it, really, or unless there was maybe one or two sneaky title defenses in there. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. I thought, I'm not going to blame Giulia here. I'm going to blame WWE for doing a very poor job with that U.S. championship, because you were peak when you gave it to Chelsea Green, someone who I thought it just fit the model. It fit the role for her. And now we have someone like Giulia from NXT, which is great because Giulia was NXT champion. She was amazing as a champion, but we're not doing anything with the title. And now the title just seems unimportant. The match itself was fine. Giulia wins because Kiana James at ringside helped distract Tiffany Stratton enough to where Giulia was able to pull off a sneaky victory. That was it. Main event time, we have Matt Cardona versus Randy Orton, as I mentioned before earlier in this episode. Now, this match went probably exactly as expected, except with a small amount of momentum going in Matt Cardona's favor, considering he had the little brace on his wrist from last week after Randy stomped his hand through a chair. But the outcome was still the same. Okay. Randy Orton RKOs him eventually. He wins the match. Post-match, Cody Rhodes is seen driving up to the arena. He comes out, and there's hella security and all that stuff, and he's telling Nick Aldis, I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. He did not talk to him. He, in fact, did throw hands with Randy Orton, which should have been the correct call. If Cody Rhodes, because I feel like I could definitely see Cody Rhodes grabbing a microphone and just talking to Randy Orton after he just did what he did to him. And it's like, thank you for having some balls, Cody. You know, not to say you never did, but thank you for having some balls, Cody Rhodes. He, for the most part, whipped Randy all around the ring, all around ringside before there was separation involved between the two of them via security. And I think as of the making of this video, it's been confirmed that they will be the night one main event. And if it has not been confirmed, they for sure should be the night one main event because night two deserves to be the Tribal Chief and CM Punk. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, this was the quickest recap because this show was not that, it was just not good. It was just not good at all. And I'm sorry for the quick video. That being said, be prepared for a WrestleMania predictions video coming out soon because at the making of this video, I believe we finally have all the cards at play for WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2. So be ready for that video to come out. If you guys enjoyed sports in general, here at Cringeman Media, try our best to appeal to all audiences, whether it be football or even combat sports like professional wrestling. Thank you guys so much. Love y'all. Have a good one.